Hi everyone, my name is Britain Klein, the ad sales manager, and welcome to this week's edition of Marketing Minutes by Scuba Diving Industry Magazine.
Hi, and I'm William Klein, the producer and also publisher of the magazine. And with us today, we have a very special guest. So, Britain, who's on our show today?
That's right. Today we have our friend Gretchen Ashton, the owner of ScubaFit and new training concepts for retailers and instructors alike. Gretchen, welcome to the show.
Hi, William. Hi, Britain.
Well, thanks for having us today.
Great to be here today.
It's great to see you again, actually. We saw her back in Long Beach, right?
That's right.
We had a little chit-chat.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, we have a nice little talk. So we said we want to have her back on the show where we can really do a full discussion of our program because it's just so interesting. And this happens to mark our 46th episode of this show.
That's right.
In just 3 months, I think, right?
That's right. Yeah, it doesn't even feel like that long, but we're so excited. And Gretchen, just to dive right in, ScubaFit offers really the only fitness for diving certification proven by both PADI and the International Sports Sciences Association. How can dive retailers maybe integrate the ScubaFit diver course into their own training programs to enhance diver safety and performance too?
That's a great question.
Thanks.
I'm so glad you asked that question. I always like to share that a fitness certification of this nature, tailored to divers and dive safety and dive physiology, is a supporting certification for every other certification in the industry. Fit divers are typically safer divers. They are more likely to advance their training. They're more likely to dive more often. And so it's really a win-win. It's not a question of why would I incorporate a fitness for diving specialty into my business. It's why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Because it makes so much sense. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that.
And it's really, this is a big issue in our industry. Our industry is not, it's mostly filled with people my age, not my son's age yet, but you guys are coming on, which is great.
We're coming in.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
So as our industry is aged, we do a tremendous amount of articles and content on safety by Dan Orr, especially does a lot of our entire safety column. And so many of the articles dealt with a epic event that occurred, a tragic event, of which usually comes down to a cardiac event, which we know cardiac events are a result of usually being out of shape in a high stress environment, which is what diving is kind of all about. So, the ScubaFit Diver course includes components on fitness and nutrition, hydration. What resources do you provide dive shops that say they want to create this course? We have some really good friends right here in Dallas, and I'm going to put a challenge out there for Rich Thomas International Scuba.
That's right.
And his girlfriend Jen, which run the Frisco store. They're very innovative, and they have a pool, and they're all about this. And I'd be curious to see if they have any, if they're doing anything like this, because it's such a cool program, especially in the wintertime, right?
Right.
So tell us a little bit about the program, how retailers can make it work.
So the program is really everything that I would ever do for a fitness client, from an initial evaluation all the way through to demonstrating exercises as a practical, just to know that people know how to do it safely.
For sure.
But in between those bookends is 65 pages of information and another 35-page workbook where divers, dive professionals actually develop their own personal fitness program based on their person. It includes everything from figuring out their metabolic rate to knowing what their muscle energetics for the type of diving are, so that they can then design their nutrition to support their diving activity and fuel it. And then also, I would say an important aspect of it is it provides information that isn't readily available, and it displays a lot of myths. Just, kind of gives you a trusting, reliable source for fitness. There's a lot of noise out there about fitness, and this one is built around information available from research in both the dive industry, the fitness industry, and it's really a trusted resource.
That's so cool. So it really sounds like dive retailers can utilize your program. Do you have any recommendations as far as tools go to maybe promote their ongoing fitness and engagement as well, as far as their diving clientele goes?
Sure. So here's how it would work. It's set up like a distinctive specialty. It's in an online classroom. If you're a PADI instructor and you want to get a ScubaFit rating and teach this specialty in your dive center, or if you're an independent and you want to teach it with your diving clients, all you have to do is get online and take the course. You can register anytime. It takes about 7 to 10 hours to complete. Wow. And once you're finished with it, you get a complete teaching kit. You get the teaching PowerPoint, you get the materials, you get everything you would need to teach a class at your dive center. And all for just under $250. And then you're good to go forever.
Right.
Yeah, forever.
That's incredible.
You can create a culture just by showing interest in the course. And if you want to, you can teach to a group, but let's say you're not really set up to take that on. Maybe you have a diver that comes in and they're a new open water diver, but they're deconditioned or they have some kind of a health complication and you want to address it. You could actually set that individual diver up to take the course online.
Wow.
Right. And I'm always here. And so there's a confidentiality about it too, that I think we need a little space for within the industry.
Absolutely.
I don't get the calls for, when someone unfortunately dies during diving, but I get a lot of very private, confidential calls when someone is sick or when someone has had a surgery or they've just been out of the water a long time and they want to make sure they can get back in safely because now they're in their 50s, right?
Right.
And so that's where I come in, because I can help before the accident happens.
Yeah.
If it's related to health and wellness. A well-trained diver is essential, but also the fitness and health and well-being, it underlies every diving, certification and activity out there.
Absolutely.
So this is not necessarily what we had planned to talk about today, but we did mention this briefly, I think, when we were chatting in Long Beach. It would appear to me that, say, for instance, you've got a group trip coming up, your dive shop, and you've got a big trip, say, coming up to Australia in December of this year, 6 months or so. It would appear to me that it would be a brilliant move on the dive shop's part to offer this to all of the participants over the course of the next, say, 3 to 4 months before the trip, which would cause these people to come into your store, to come into your pool, to go do this program, which, of course, the more you get a customer into your shop, the more likely they are to buy, I should think about getting that new regulator.
They're there.
Exactly. So, it really could be a fantastic sales tool for trips.
Definitely.
And then you got customers also that are in better shape, are going to have a better time on their better experience on their trip, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And speaking of that, you have Dive Fit workouts and the Mermaid workout program. Talk to us a little bit about how that helps a dive shop keep retention, because that's kind of what I was just mentioning there with the whole trip planning is keeping those divers coming back to the shop.
Right. So I think it's important to let folks know that your dive instructor won't be teaching an exercise class like a personal trainer or a group exercise instructor in fitness. You take your clients through the program, get them started, and then each client takes their workout from there and does it themselves however they'd like to. They may go to their local gym and hire a personal trainer.
Right.
They may ask you if you would bring in a personal trainer to do a water aerobics class in their facility, right? But for the dive shop, if you create events like the destination you were talking about, I have destination workouts for half a dozen locations around the world already, and I can create one specifically for whatever trip you're taking. Based on the timeline you have to get ready to go, but it's based on the logistics of the dive operator. It's based on the type of diving, the diving conditions, the experience and level of the group going on the trip, like the Maui Muscle and Endurance Program. And there are also, these workouts are geared and focused so that they relate to the ocean. For example, Maui Muscle and Endurance is all about the humpback whale,
Right.
and it keeps it interesting for clients. But more than that, you create a community, you create a culture of diving with a fitness lifestyle, a diving lifestyle with fitness, however you want to address it. And then you create your own events. You could have dive club presentations to follow up the course. You have dive club presentations leading into the course. You could have a chef come out and do a healthy cooking segment.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's so many things you can do, and that's where I can help out because I'm really great at blending fitness and integrating fitness into a community and creating a culture. And then I have 130 published articles with workouts.
Wow.
So if you just wanted to give somebody a handout, you could go to my website and print a PDF and hand it to a diver and say, wow, I heard you say your back was bothering you a little bit. Maybe this would be a great resource for you.
That's cool.
That's amazing.
That's great. And if so if you're an instructor out there, you're a dive shop,
Or
they
dive
go to
retailer.
ScubaFit.com. Is that correct?
That's right.
And that's how starts the bowl. Get a hold of Gretchen.
Yeah, talk to our friend Gretchen. And even if you just have clientele, or people coming into your shop who want to get more educated on, their health and their fitness, and call our friend Gretchen.
Cool idea, and something
she's such a resource.
Every shop should do this, right, Britain?
Absolutely.
It's very cool. So, Gretchen, thanks for being on our show. It's been really nice to see you again. I assume you're going to be at the DEMA show coming up in 130 days or so?
Wow, man, getting closer.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe we'll have an opportunity to have you back on before, talk a little about
Chat about your specials.
your
or
specials of things you're doing
something
at
you
this
got coming
show.
up.
So, Britain, who do we got lined up for our next guest?
That's right. Our next guest is going to be Matt Seibert of Dive First Aid, an amazing guy that we actually had the chance to
so
sit down.
cool.
And you actually had some one-on-one with him.
Yeah.
Sounds like he was up to
this
some
guy
pretty cool
just
stuff.
got back from a trip to Hawaii where he brought literally suitcases full of supplies
That's right.
to help the dive shops in Lahaina rebuild their first aid kits.
That's right.
All at no charge. I mean, AEDs, everything was really
talking
cool.
about just asking them what they need.
Yeah, it was just
know?
really-
They're
it's gonna be
asking
great
them
interview, I'm
price,
sure.
this, that.
Yeah.
Just tell me what you need.
So,
Amazing guy.
Gretchen, thanks for being with us. Any last closing comments?
Just be well. Be well. Take care of yourself.
That's a great tagline. Thanks again, Gretchen, and we'll see everybody on our next episode of Marketing Minutes.